Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to another session of A Day with your fertility specialist. I'm your host, Joanna Damina, and today we're going to be talking about genotype and compatibility. We're so glad to have you here. We really appreciate every like, every comment, every share, every time you click on our lives or our live sessions. We really do love having you here. And anytime we talk about a topic, we're just trying to make sure you're making more informed decisions. We want you to be more aware about things that are going on with your fertility issues and problems. And we love having your questions. Please send them in at any time. Today we are joined by Dr. Jane. If you're a regular here, you already know Dr. Jane. But if you don't, and you're joining us for the first time, Dr. Jane is a consultant gynecologist. She's also a fertility specialist as well. So she has a lot of insight on our questions today and things that she has experienced firsthand working in this field, right? So welcome on board, Dr. Jane.
Thank you, Joanna.
It's lovely to have you here as usual.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So genotype compatibility, sorry everyone, genotype compatibility, right? We've heard about this a lot, oh, what's a genotype? I'm AA, I'm AS, I'm B12. But what are the things, how would you say genotype compatibility actually makes sense, or what does it actually mean in a more medical sense, like from a medical standpoint?
Well, genotype, as the word is just talking about the genes of individuals. So when you say they are compatible or not compatible, it just means when these genes come together,
Mm-hmm.
what risk do they pose to the child that you're going to have?
Okay.
So when you say genotype compatibility, it just means two individuals coming together or two different genes from two different individuals
Mm.
coming together with reduced risk or absent risk entirely of having babies with inherited
Okay.
disorders.
Okay.
Yes, basically. And these genes, basically, they're talking about this genotype, talks about the hemoglobins.
Yeah.
Yes, and the hemoglobins are basically where we're going to focus on.
Mm.
So when you have we have the abnormal hemoglobin or carriers, the
Yes.
SS
Yes.
or AS, SC,
Mm-hmm.
AC, those are the abnormal ones. So when you now have two people with these
Those
abnormal genes
abnormal. Mm-hmm.
coming together, the risk of the child having an inherited disorder or these abnormal genes increases significantly. So when you have two people with this, you can say they are not compatible,
Okay.
or the compatibility just talks about what you can get when they come together.
Okay, so most times, of course, like you said, is when two people are basically coming together and then they're going to have to pass on these genes to other people. So, what are some points? At what point do you think a couple should, basically they should know their genotype? Like they should have an idea of, not an idea, they should know exactly what it is that they're going into.
Well, everyone is supposed to know his or her genotype.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but for those that don't know, once you are in a relationship, and that's the essence of this awareness,
Yeah.
you're already in the talking stage or building the relationship. At that point, you should know your genotype, if it's compatible or not. Yes, there are things you can do when you come together with genotype, those that are not compatible. Yes, there are a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things we can do, but when you know this, you are able to make better decisions,
Yeah.
informed decisions, and plan your future better.
I mean, which is exactly what we try to do. Like I said earlier, we're just trying to make you have to basically give you more knowledge on the things that affect your fertility or are going to be in tandem with your fertility, so you make more informed decisions when you're trying to conceive and have babies. But what are some myths that people have concerning sickle cell and genotype?
Well, there are a whole lot of myths, and well, I know a few, but a whole lot.
You just
Yes.
tell us a
So
few that
first,
know.
a lot of times people think love is enough to conquer, yes, the
Yeah.
genotype challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Love is a strong thing, and it's a beautiful thing, but science doesn't work. It works with evidence and
Yeah.
research. So when science says two genes are not compatible, the love will not surmount that
Mm-hmm.
research or the scientific part of your genes.
Yeah.
So love is not enough. Yes, even if you are going into it, you want to know about what you're going to
Mm-hmm.
and be empowered with information and how to surmount some of these challenges you are going to come across. Then some persons will say, it has never happened in my family. I won't be the
It
first,
won't happen
right?
to me.
Yes, the truth is you might not have had it because for every pregnancy, there's a 25% chance that that baby is going to
Exactly.
have that inherited disorder.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 25, 50, 25, there is no rule that says you are not going to be in the 25 that will be having the inherited disorder
Yeah.
consistently. And that is why you are educated today that it doesn't follow, it has not happened. Yes, your mom might have passed or escaped and you're able to get the AS,
Mm-hmm.
but if you come, it might, for you, it might be a different game entirely. And you don't want to be in a situation with the childhood morbidities, frequent hospital visits, the
Yes,
pains, the
really.
financial strain, and all of that. Then some again spirituality, some things that some would say that God cannot give me what I cannot handle. Well, spirituality too is good. Yes, your faith helps you to hold strong
Yeah.
when there are challenges. But again, these things are scientific, evidence based, and your spirituality might not be able to take away the fact that you have a child with an inherited disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and those the challenges that come with the
They're going to
condition
come.
might still be there.
Yeah. You
Yes,
just
then
have.
yes,
You're just stronger to,
you're able to hold it
yeah,
with your
hold on to your
yes.
faith and just be a bit stronger. But these things can actually still happen. I mean, it is science for a reason. It has been tested time and time again. So there are definitely times where you're praying and you're hoping, but you should also find a way to work with reality a little bit more, or let's say the scientific part of reality a little bit more. But is it possible to get a wrong genotype, like when you get it tested? Because I've heard of this before, where you ask someone, "Oh, what's your genotype?" Ah, one time I did it, they said I was AS. One time I did, they said I was AA, or different genotypes like
Yeah.
that. So is it possible? And how do you encourage someone to get more accurate testing, basically? Because at some point you really do need to know. And if you're worried about getting the wrong genotype, how do you get to have an accurate one?
Well, it's very possible to actually to have wrong genotype given to you as a result, and that is why when you have that, it's okay to have it more than once, especially when you have been told of maybe you have an inherited disorder,
Mm-hmm.
not the double SS. Probably you're in a carrier state, maybe a carrier. Yeah, you want to confirm. So yes, because if you are full a sick have inherited double of the sickle cell anemic gene, you would most likely would have been diagnosed because of the frequent
Yes,
back and forth in the
differences.
hospital and all of that.
Yeah.
So if you've been told of this inherited these mild forms, it's better to have a second opinion. And by doing that, you should go to standard laboratories
Yeah.
where you can be sure that your result is top quality. Yes, and when you have two results that are not looking alike, then you can still have a third one to have a tiebreaker, because these things are very important and you don't want to be in the middle of the crisis. Then
Mm,
you discover and you are, in so much pain and you resent even the person that did the lab test and all of
exactly.
that. So
Yeah.
sometimes, yes, you take your life into your hands, and that's why we're doing this awareness talk. When you have things that don't go well, don't decide to go with what you want
Mm-hmm.
because of beliefs, faith, and things like that. Please go have a third opinion or a tiebreaker. That would help along.
So, but how often would you say genotype testing should be repeated? Because sometimes you'll be like, you ask someone their genotype and they say, "Oh, my mom told me I was so when I was a child, when I was small, things like that." But how often do you think it should be repeated, if at all it should be repeated?
Well, I don't think there's any need to repeat
Hmm.
because it doesn't change.
Mm-hmm.
It's something you inherit and it goes with you through life. But if you must, probably for this type that you say, my mom said this a long time ago as a
Yeah.
child, You could have one as an adult. If it tallies, then that settles
That's
it.
fine.
But when you have disparate results, that's when you want to go for tiebreakers and all of that. But you don't have to do it often. One result is fine, except when you have contradicting
Mm.
results.
Well, here we have, just trying to ask about you personally. If you've had that situation where you've had a couple, maybe that had been advised against trying to conceive, especially naturally or together because of their incompatible genotype, but they still went ahead with it. Have you had that happen in your
Well,
experience?
I have seen one.
Oh,
Yes.
what was the consequence? Like, what was the outcome of that happening? Do you know that, or you just saw
Well,
that?
I don't. Yeah, the consequence that it didn't go the way they thought it would go.
Hmm.
Yes. So, and then there was like a brain reset, and
Yeah.
they are beginning to look for solutions,
Oh,
and they
that's
are hoping
tough.
that the subsequent pregnancies and
Hmm.
babies don't inherit those genes. And of course, that is where the fertility specialist come in.
Yeah. So, but like you said earlier, there are still other options out there that can help people who are not genetically compatible or don't have their genotype being compatible. What are some other forms of reproduction, or let me say like fertility options that are available to people like that still really want to be together? That love is is very strong, and they're like, yes, we can make other things work, we can do this or do that. So what kind of things can they actually make work?
Well, it's like you have a whole lot of options. So when you have two individuals in carrier states and you're trying to avoid babies with inherited disorders, first they can try what we call intrauterine insemination with donor eggs,
Okay.
donor sperm rather. So you stimulate the woman,
Mm-hmm.
then at the point of intercourse for pregnancy to happen, she can use donated sperm from an AA carrying individual instead of using the AS, and that takes out the risk entirely.
Yeah.
So even if they have a baby, it's likely to be a carrier, not having a baby with the full inherited disorder. Then they can also have in vitro fertilization. That's what we call IVF
Mm-hmm.
with either donor gametes. So it can either be taking donor eggs,
Okay.
that's AA,
Yeah.
a gene, and or you could use donor sperm, whichever one has to be 100% not
A
in a carrier
career.
state. So
Yeah,
you take
okay.
out that risk of having babies inherited disorder.
Yeah.
Well, two individuals can also get pregnant. Then you do what we call the non-invasive prenatal testing, where you can take the blood of the woman and look out for genes of the baby and check if the baby is SS
Interesting.
or if the baby has inherited the disorder.
Mm-hmm.
Then at that point, you can decide what to do with the pregnancy. If you want to go ahead or other options. Either you want to terminate the pregnancy because the baby is going to come out as is
Okay.
reported on the test. Then you also have what we call pre-implantation genetic diagnosis.
Okay.
This helps to look at the embryos and exclude the SS or the carrier states and gives you babies with the genotype AA,
Hmm.
and that will be transferred into the uterus. That you're very sure and
There's
that is one of the reasons for pre-implantation genetic diagnosis.
yeah.
It takes out inherited disorders and gives you babies without any form of morbidity along the line.
I know I've spoken about pre-implantation genetic diagnosis as well here. I know that we often talk about it in other related fertility cases, but that actually is really interesting. The one where you said they'll take the blood from the woman and all that. At what point in pregnancies would that
Well, the
happen? Because
pregnancy will
I
still
know
be
you're saying terminate, and that can be a really difficult
yes, the
choice to
pregnancy will
make.
be very early.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's for couples that still go ahead. As you say, love is a strong word, and a lot of times some people are not willing to break, and that's why we encourage people at even the talking stage and meeting
Yeah.
stage. You should know your genotype,
People should be
because a lot
asking
of times,
genotype. Oh.
yes, so yeah, so you want them to know their genotype
Mhm.
as early as so by the time the reality stares them in the face, they're able to take that very difficult decision before investing their energies, their time, and all of that.
Yeah.
So for those that would, well, for any reason want to still go ahead, or for for the few that would have wrong results for one reason or the other, they find out they are both heirs or carriers in the course of their staying together, then that option is there, and they want to still have babies on their own, then that is an
That's also
option.
done.
And this is done around 10 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's
That's
still
interesting.
early,
Yeah.
like in the first trimester.
Mm. I know that can be a really difficult decision to make, especially considering the fact that you really did bypass all these things and you expected that there would be a difference. I mean, nobody's wishing for there not to be a difference, but before you even get to that stage, it's very important that you and your partner or your spouse are very aware of your genotype because you're bringing another life into this world which you are very responsible for. So how can we make this a little bit more normalized as a part of love or a part of responsible love? Let me see, because trying to bypass everything and just say, "Oh, this won't happen to me," or this it's a little. Look, it's irresponsible, I would say, because you actually do have another life coming in based on the choices that you're making. So how do we make this more, normalized? I know you said even in the talking stage you should ask about it, but
Well, over the years, with the challenges that come with a lot of this sickle cell or this genotype incompatibility, and we have babies with a lot of challenges growing up. A lot of people have started making it something to talk about. I
yeah.
see a lot of short plays and all of that online,
Mm,
educative videos and all. Yes, but this has to. It's not. There's no rule that says when you meet someone today, you go for your genotype tomorrow, because you don't even know how long you people are going to talk and all. Yes, but I think awareness is key, so that once you meet someone and you think something serious is going to start, it's better. That is when you start talking about knowing your genotype. Even when you have it, both of you want to have it at the same point. Let's see what we have
yeah,
and work from that point. So
exactly.
normalizing it, yes. Most churches now you present your certificate. Well, I yes, and now that is where normalizing comes. Bringing it at the point of the wedding, a week, 2 weeks
I
before.
mean, you've
I feel
already
it's
gone
really
so
late.
far.
So this
Yeah.
is where it comes in, when you start, and that's why we emphasize talking stage very early, so that you don't go ahead because you have invested so much to pull back
Exactly.
at that
Yeah.
point in time. So yes, awareness makes people talk about it all the time, but normalizing, at what point do you say go for your genotype in this relationship? That might be difficult
It
for
would
me to
be, yeah.
say.
No, it's not, I don't think it's on you to tell them you must go by this time. But at least when you're seeing that, like you said, you're getting serious with someone and you're having that talk of how many kids do you want,
Yeah.
how do you want your wedding to be, what's your dream wedding, what's your dream dress, what's your dream destination, and all those things. When you start talking about things that are more serious, definitely this should be something that would come up because eventually you are going to be with that person. That's your mindset, that you want to be with that person. So you need to know if you are compatible. That's the whole reason for us bringing up this topic here. And I know in all of this, we've spoken about how to encourage people to definitely find out their genotype. But if you could give one message, just generally, I would say to young people that are dating today or in today's age, what is something that you would tell them, especially from a medical point of view?
Well, to the young people, dating young people, yes, this is a month of law, right?
Yes.
So, so yes, my advice is, well, as we have spoken today, genotype, you should ask medical important questions, things that can help you build your relationship, and you can manage health conditions when they come. So it's not out of place to know how you have been, what medical conditions you've had, or what even have you had any procedure? Do you have this? Just talk about things. It doesn't
Things that
have
run
to
in
be
your
roses and
family.
flowers and all of that. Things that run in your family, you want to know because you want to even be able to help.
Yeah.
And you don't want to just discover that someone is hypertensive maybe 2 days after your wedding or is diabetic. So you need to make health decisions that impact your health. Check do medical checks.
Yeah.
That's why the health awareness is there. No one is too young to know about his health. Even when you talk about breast disease for women,
Yeah.
cancer for women, education is key, knowledge is key. It helps you to make good decisions in your relationship and also as you run your home together when if you decide to continue the race or the journey.
Yeah. Dr. Jane, I really love her girl because you're smiling so much as you're talking about running your home. Well, this is just a little bit of comic relief. Because I know that it can be very debilitating to think of what might derail your relationship. But this is the month of love, and we just want you to love responsibly, just the way you do every other thing responsibly. This is also something that is going to affect the outlook of your life and that of your kids. So thank you so much, Dr. Jane, for being on here.
Welcome.
Thank you for talking to us about genotype compatibility and all those intricacies that people may not have known before. And if you did stick around till the end and you learned something new, please do well to give a like, a comment, share this with someone that you know would be interested in this topic, or one of those your friends that you have been telling, check your genotype, and they haven't done that. Just encourage them to do that today. And like I said, yes, this is the month of love. So we're coming to you with all the love and all the appreciation. Thank you for sticking with us. You can join us on Instagram. Yes, we're live on Instagram now, Facebook, and YouTube every Wednesday and Friday by 3 p.m. We'll talk to you a lot more about your fertility options. Have a great day. Bye.